Hey, everybody. This is Queer Media Matters, and I am editor-in-chief Dana Pickley. Thank you so much for joining me for this fun interview. I have a very cool person with me. You may know them from a little show called Vagrant Queen. Welcome, Jem Garrard.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a hard G, just so you know, if you're looking at it. We already discussed this. I wanted to make sure
It is a hard G. That became a nickname on set with the crew. Just
hard G.
Remember, Jem Hard G was my name on set. Yeah.
So, loving Vagrant Queen.
Thank you.
Loving it. We're almost to the penultimate episode, or actually, we're at the we just had the penultimate episode because all of you are watching this after the episode 9, and
one more to go.
One more to go. So we've before we get to that, I want to start at the very beginning.
Sure.
So how did you get involved with adapting Vagrant Queen from the comic book to the TV show?
Yeah, well, I just finished in 2018. I just finished a movie, a very fun monster movie called Killer High with Blue Ice Pictures and Sci-Fi. We had a lot of fun on that, and we were often sort of chatting about what we're reading and what comics we're reading that we think would make great adaptations. And later that year, when a few issues of Vagrant Queen had come out, we sort of were passing it around to each other and sort of all had the same reaction. We were all kind of excited about it. It was a new kind of take on the space opera genre. And so, and I was a big fan of Mags Fasaggio before I put her name forward for some of her other work, and so they asked me to adapt the comic into a pilot, and I did, and from there I wrote the series Bible, and then the rest sort of snowballed from that. We were given a 10-episode order, and I was off to Cape Town to shoot it. It happened so quickly.
So you are the creator, showrunner, main director, and writer?
Yes.
So, why are you so lazy?
I know.
That's a lot to take on. That's quite a busy. That's a lot. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. But I think I knew the world inside out, and I think I come from a background of indie filmmaking. Where you're used to doing everything. You write and direct and often produce, and you kind of have in mind, that visual language, that story, the characters, inside out. So although it was a lot, I loved it, and I kind of just felt totally in my element.
In the comic, Elida is not romantically linked to anyone, correct?
No, she's not. Yeah.
But in the show, she has a serious connection with Amae. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm glad you went there, but why did you?
Well, I mean, that was important to me, going into the project. And it's something that I had I discussed with Sci-Fi and Blue Ice, and our exec at Sci-Fi, Josh, was really supportive of it. And we wanted to, we wanted the show to be diverse, and I wanted to write queer characters. As a queer filmmaker, I don't feel we see enough of that, and I certainly don't feel we see enough of it in Sci-Fi, especially in our lead characters. And so, when I was developing the pilot, Amae, I knew we needed a character who could sort of kind of bring Elida and Isaac closer together. She's sort of the most emotionally intelligent of the crew. She's sort of like she's the glue. She's the glue that holds the team together. And it allows Isaac and Elida to have that sort of fun banter. And it gives us a way to have more of an emotional connection. And then when I was writing her, I was like, okay, it would be great I'd love for her to be a gay character. And then when I was developing the story and the larger arc, it made sense that, there would be something between Elida and Amae. and we sort of joked that we in the writers' room that this galaxy doesn't really have labels. So, you know,
I was going
we
to ask you about that. Is that like in the Vagrant Queen universe, like sexuality, that's not even an issue, right?
Yeah, it's not even an issue. In fact, on set, you know, we would talk about it, Adrian and I, like the closest thing, you know, on Earth that we call it is, you know, Elida is maybe pansexual, but really she has a connection to this person, to Amae.
So I love that Amae was created like specifically for this series and for all these reasons. Why did you want to tell this character's particular story?
Amae's story?
Yes.
I mean, as I mentioned, you know, I think I needed that character that could kind of be the glue of the group, and she has her own unique past as well. And you know, I really hope that in future episodes we would get to explore that. But essentially, she gave us many things. You know, she allows us to see another side of the characters that we wouldn't otherwise get to see. If we were following Elida and Isaac's story, as you can see in the comic books, there's a certain wall they both have up that, you know, would never allow us to sort of get to know them as well as we could. And Amae gives us that. And she was just a super fun character to write. She's silly and quirky and ridiculous in ways. She has this like fun childlike quality that or sort of way of seeing things that, you know, is so different from Elida and Isaac. And yeah, she's got her own sort of big past as well. And you know, these three characters are essentially, all three of them are dealing with, you know, trauma in a different way, and
right.
You know, and together they sort of kind of support each other through that.
Yeah, Amae and Elida both have, I mean, not terribly dissimilar tragedies in their backgrounds, but they both deal with it in very different ways.
Very different ways. Yeah, Elida has put up a wall you know, to protect herself and has pushed people away, and Amae has done the complete opposite of that. You know, and she's sort of, you know, maybe healthier with it. She's sort of more emotionally in touch with her feelings and vulnerability and able to process that. And so I think, you know, Elida needed someone like her. And so, you know, that was really kind of where she came from, Amae. And also, you know, if you're writing a space show, essentially a road trip through space, you're going to need the awesome kick-ass mechanic.
You know, I'm just realizing as we're talking, you basically did the opposite of a bury your gay situation. You created a gay to help with the emotional arc of your lead character in the same way that a lot of people use help with the emotional arc of a lead character, but like in the complete opposite way. Maybe we need to create a new genre, like birthing your gay.
Oh, I'm there for that. I love that idea.
All right, Jem, it's totally yours. You can slap a trademark on it. So much of Vagrant Queen is about this friendship and this kinship between this trio. Most creators would have slapped a love triangle up in there, but you didn't. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah, that was important. I think, you know, I think if we did that, we've seen that a lot, and especially with, you know, the white male straight character Isaac we have in the show. That was sort of, I think, an obvious way to go about it. And what we don't see a lot is, I mean, Isaac's been sort of trapped in this other galaxy for 5 years, and he's stayed faithful to his wife. You know, he loves someone else, and his whole arc in the first season is about wanting to get back home to Earth. And so it was really important that we maintained that connection he has to Earth and that need and want to get back.
Which is this really kind of cool thing that the like male lead of a show is dedicated to his long lost wife, you know, in a different galaxy. That's so unusual, and it it gives Isaac so much room to play with different sorts of things and emotions, and
Exactly.
it's been really an interesting. Typically I'm not super drawn to like the male lead character of a show, but there's something special about Isaac.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We wanted to give him the freedom to kind of to explore these friendships. He has a very different friendship with both Elida and Amae. And I love the friendship him and Amae build throughout the season. And it's, writing him this way gave us that freedom to just kind of have this. He has his own motives, and his his motivations aren't about who he's trying to get with and who he's romantically connected to throughout the season. So he was a very fun character to write, and as you can see in the comics, he could be pretty unlikable in the comics, and so we wanted to make sure that we kind of took parts of him that were that we really enjoyed, that Max and Jason had created in the comics. He's witty, he's a fast talker, he's cheeky, but he's arrogant, but still make him likable.
Yeah.
He sort of still has to hold those qualities, but he's ultimately you've got to have a likable lead as well.
Where did the idea for the intergalactic karaoke death match come from?
I love that scene. That's one of my most favorite scenes. It certainly was to shoot as well. In the writers' room, one of the rules we had was keep it relatable. So, we wanted to be a very self-aware show. Keep it fun was always a rule, but keep it relatable, because we're in this other galaxy with, all these aliens and all these kind of ridiculous things. And we often wanted to kind of put our characters in situations that we could just relate to. So that's actually where sort of parking tickets and things, being towed came from. And
we can't relate to 80s rock band Starship.
Yeah, there you go. You exactly. You might not be able to relate to in a death match, but I'm certain that a lot of us have had that karaoke battles. And so when we were writing episode 2, and had them land on this planet Grebos, we were like, okay, there should be, there's some sort of battle, some sort of confrontation in the finale. What is that? And one of the ideas that came up. And we chose karaoke, yeah. And it was all had to come down to the song, though. So I remember I wrote in the script, Starship's Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, and in brackets, I really hope we can get this.
And that's what your entire budget went to.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. The entire budget for episode 2 went on that song. No, I was so happy when the producers called and said we had that.
Oh, I love it. So the bottle episode 8, the Clue homage, so many wonderful Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Get to a moment with Amae and Elida where we're like, so close, and they keep getting pulled away. So close. Okay. So we're actually, as I mentioned earlier in this, we are, this will be broadcast after episode 9. And we know now, finally, slow burn after 9 episodes, we're finally getting the connection. So tell me a little bit about that.
That's really funny, because in early drafts of the script, I was like, oh, maybe they shouldn't even kiss this season, because they should get to know each other. And I had, I think it. Do
you not know lesbians at all, Jem?
I know, I'm a terrible gay. Both Mariko and Mika were like, I don't know if I agree with that, and it happened organically when I was writing episode 9. The moment really honestly happened organically, and I was like, oh my goodness, it has to be now, because it couldn't have happened earlier. They were just getting to know each other. Elida has had this wall up for so long, so even though she's kind of maybe she has feelings for her, she has no way to, she doesn't know how to be that vulnerable.
Right, and this isn't some just random space station hookup. This is something real.
Exactly, this is something real, and Amae, as we've seen, has had a lot of those other hookups. And so she didn't want Elida to be that, you know, they have a real friendship. And so it was kind of a lot more weighted for both of them. And as you saw in Elida says to Isaac that she's scared to lose this again. So, she doesn't quite admit those feelings for Amae, but she says she's scared to lose it. So, she's not maybe gonna make the first move. And so in episode 9, at that moment when, they've all got their own kind of quests that they're about to go on, and the group split up, that moment felt like the perfect moment to do it, because it's also a goodbye as well, because none of them know what's about to happen.
Now you got me all nervous. All nervous for the finale. But I trust you, Jem. I just
Thank you.
I trust you.
Thank you.
What are some of the unique challenges of doing a genre show like Vagrant Queen?
The challenges, I think, creating a whole other galaxy is certainly a challenge. Everything is sort of, we tried to custom design as much as possible. On a low budget. Vagrant Queen is it's a low budget show that we wanted to kind of put everything into. We had so much talent on the show, and that's kind of why it looks as good as it does for the tiny budget we have. So creating a whole new galaxy was, probably one of the biggest challenges. But being in Cape Town, we were kind of spoiled with a lot of locations. The landscape offered us the kind of forest and a desert and these cool industrial looks, and water. So we were able to kind of play a lot of different planet looks in Cape Town, which was great. I'd say that was sort of one of the biggest challenges of the show,
is to make it look out of this world but also familiar in a way.
Exactly. Yeah,
like the 7-Eleven. That's not really a 7-Eleven, but it's like an intergalactic 7-Eleven. That's one of my favorite moments in the entire series, is just going into the 7-Eleven that's completely alien but so familiar at the same time. Like the attention to detail is just, I love that so much about the show.
Oh, that means a lot. We had such an incredible art team on this. Our production designer, Bobby Cardoso, was incredible. And everybody on the team, from our props and our designers, just they put so much effort into those tiny details. So I love that you're enjoying them.
Oh, totally notice them. Absolutely. And it's one of the things now when I watch the show, I look for it. So I'm looking for these tiny little things that I know took so much thought and care. And it makes the show like so much more fun for me.
Oh, that's awesome. You made my day.
Oh, good. Are you that kind of person? Is that like your trademark as a director? Are you like a real
Yeah, absolutely. And as a writer as well, I think that comes as well from, when you come from indie filmmaking, you have to kind of be smart with a lot of your resources, and a lot of that kind of comes down to the detail. If you can't kind of maybe do it as big as you want, but what you've got, you can. Sorry, I'm hearing an echo of my voice.
Well, I don't hear it.
Okay, great. I'll just try and ignore myself. You just try and pay attention to what you have got and those, what you've built on screen. Put a lot of kind of thought and effort into those.
You've worked on a number of LGBTQ focused projects. Is that something that's really important to you as a queer person?
Absolutely. And I hope to continue that in my career. I want to try and turn my voice off there. With the characters that I write and on screen and projects that I take on, like I said, I think we need to see more queer characters in TV and certainly in genre. So I'm proud to kind of be creating those characters and supporting that change and that movement.
What's your experience been like as an out queer filmmaker in the television industry and film, I should say, because you do both?
Mm-hmm. I'd say it's certainly had its ups and downs, and I think for me, especially being a female filmmaker, I've seen the challenges kind of as a director for hire, especially in genre. We have a long way to go to reach parity, and that was why it's important when I was put in this position of power to bring on a full female writer and director team. But as a queer filmmaker, I've certainly not been given enough projects that show that represent a queer experience. And certainly not seen it in lead characters, and so it's why whenever I get to write something, it's important to have that representation.
Thank you for doing that. Not everyone is willing or it feels comfortable to do that, and that's really a brave step.
Thank you. I think the most important thing as well, though, is that and I've had this discussion with many writers with the gay or straight, is that you can write gay characters and the story doesn't need to be about them being gay. Doesn't have to be part of their...
Can it just be about them being gay? I'm fine with that.
No,
I know I respect your line of thinking, and I really do. But I'm totally fine with a bunch of it just being about them being gay.
Oh, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I love those shows too. But I try and tell writers as well that, you don't have to be scared of writing a gay character because their arc has to be about them being gay.
Right.
You can just write a character that, happens to be gay, but...
Right. They could be a former queen who is now on the run and,
there you go.
A scavenger. Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying is don't let the gay thing or the queer thing or the trans thing or anything stop you from creating a full fleshed out, fascinating character. It's just who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
It happens to be, one thing about them.
So, how do fans of Vagrant Queen help the show? What can they do to help?
Yes. Right now, I think it's just tuning into sci-fi, and I want to thank all of the fans so far. They've been amazing every week, live tweeting with us and promoting the show. And I've seen a couple of Vagrant Queen power hours as well, which are awesome. The support has been phenomenal, and I know it's tough, staying up till 11 p.m. to check it out. That move was tough for us, but just keep tuning in and checking out the show, and hopefully we'll be able to bring more episodes to you.
I hope so too. I've enjoyed the hell out of this first season, and I will tell all my friends and Twitter pals to keep on tweeting. I know this sounds like very, very technical, but who should they be tweeting? Should they be tweeting certain hashtags?
I think you can hashtag Vagrant Queen. The great thing about sci-fi is they're very active online too, so it's great to see them interact with fans and our posts. Mm-hmm. But I think, just kind of sharing that the show's out there. I think one of the big things for us is, we wanted to create this show for people who wouldn't necessarily watch genre or space operas. Kind of wanted it to be fun and accessible, and this, fun, irreverent journey that anyone could enjoy. And so right now, I honestly think we're still sort of getting the word out. I think there are still so many people that are only just kind of learning that this is out there. And so that's kind of really what we're trying to do, is just get the word out there. And, people like you and your support, we're getting there.
Sharing is caring, folks. Share, share away. Well, Jem, this has been a total pleasure to talk to you. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter at Jem Garrard, Jemga, and I'm on Instagram at Jem Garrard.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I'm crossing my fingers, and I am excited and terrified for that finale. And I might have to DM you with some strongly worded private tweets.
I would love to hear what you think of the finale. I'm excited for you to see it.